Good evening, Asia Pacific, good afternoon, Europe, and good morning, America. Welcome to the Genesis Expo, our monthly showcase on our low-code application platform. I'm Felipe Oliveira, Head of Sales and Marketing, and I'm delighted you can join us as we share with you how the Genesis LCAP is transforming financial markets IT delivery. I'm joined today by my special guest, Daniel Shepard, CEO of BTON Financial, discussing how they are using low-code innovation to transform the buy side with their outsourced trading desk. We open our show with an update from COO and co-founder James Harrison on the exciting developments at Genesis and an update from across the market. Our colleague Nick Kolba, Global Head of Platform, joins from New York with an update on the Genesis LCAP platform and how we are reducing IT development times by 80%. And we close with a session with Peter Nelkieman, Sales Manager, and a demo and showcase of BTON's Smart Broker Router and a live Q&A session. Financial markets firms face a challenging and constantly changing environment. We help firms adapt, innovate, and transform their business and operating models, making it possible to do more with less code in less time. To get us underway, I would like to hand over to James Harrison for a company update.
Hi everybody, and thank you so much for joining the second Genesis Expo, our monthly showcase. Our first Expo last month was a great hit, with the feedback we received being amazing. So let's try and build on that today. So let me kick things off with a quick company summary, including some client and some project news. So even though we're now officially in holiday season in many of our global regions, we see no let-up in the demand for the Genesis products and solutions, which is a great position we find ourselves in. As our CEO Stephen Murphy mentioned in last month's Expo, our third region, Sao Paulo in Brazil, is now fully operational, and we're now hiring aggressively in this region to support existing client demand and to prepare for the new deals we have in our pipeline. We want to let you all know today that Brazil is not only an important commercial hub for Genesis, but also a key engineering hub covering all of Latin America. Closer to home, for me at least, whilst London is sweltering in unusually high temperatures, there is also no rest for the wicked here either. And we continue to onboard new client accounts, and also to support this, we've made several key hires in both the engineering and the commercial teams. Genesis New York does not escape the pressure either, and with things starting to recover there, we are on the verge of closing our biggest global deal to date, which we're enormously excited about, and it's something that we've been working on all year. There will be a lot more news on this very soon. So if you're looking for a challenging new role in any of these regions, then please don't hesitate to get in touch with the careers page on our website, where we'd love to hear from you. Company-wide, we continue to embrace successful working from home, where it's clear we're able to deliver quality projects as if we were in the office, whilst also providing first-class support to our clients as well. A big thing that I'm extremely thankful to report is that our entire global team remains fit and well, and we've also put safeguards in place to ensure that we can maintain this. Whilst the teams are remote, we've increased our focus on company wellness and well-being, and through our regular HR channels and surveys, we can proudly report back that our most important asset, our people, are loving working at Genesis, particularly the ability to work remotely in a flexible environment on exciting projects. Okay, some product and solution news. We continue to work hard to support our client growth, and this month we now offer much improved UI and UX capabilities within the Genesis low-code platform, where we're working with clients such as BTON on ensuring their client experience is best in class. You'll also hear from our Head of Platform, Nick Kolba, shortly on how he and his team are full steam ahead, ensuring Genesis is ensuring cutting-edge web components and progressive web application browser standards for the ultimate end-user experience. Our middle office solution continues to gain more and more traction, and this month we are pleased to announce we will now fully support fixed income workflows, including CTM. This goes alongside our existing support for equities and futures and options, so it's now becoming a true multi-asset solution, something our clients think is fantastic. Not only is its TAM increasing in functionality, but our leading RFQ platform, AQS, now fully supports equity and options trading workflows, both RFQ and electronic order management over FIX, all under one roof. The feedback from the market on having this multi-asset, multi-workflow, single sales trader experience has been very positive. We also went live with a new FX trade capture solution last month, allowing trading of FX spot, futures, swap, NDFs, and options, including many option strategies, linked electronically over Fix to prime brokers. This has allowed our client to ramp up their business, which is amazing to see. With many other projects ongoing, but these are the 3 key deliverables this month that I want to call out. And as with all of our solutions, these were built in only a matter of weeks using the same LCAP approach. So that's almost it from me. I just wanted to say that the feedback we received from last month's Expo cemented our drive to remove end-user computing for our clients by using low-code. Migrating onto low-code technology that not only robust, secure and compliant, but is also seamless to migrate, quick to develop and easy to support is absolutely key to this. To that end, Genesis has commissioned an industry-wide white paper covering the use of low-code to replace EUC, which you'll all be able to download from our website shortly. We also received a lot of interest from the CPRI community in the Genesis CIA application built in partnership with ING. It clearly shows to us that this is a genuine gap in the market for this workflow, and we've been asked to consider extending the functionality to support other related workflows. And this is something, of course, we're very keen to explore. So as for today, in this Expo, we'll expand our focus to cover new electronic platforms, which is more around the theme of replacing legacy, where we'll hear from Dan, the CEO of BTON, and why he chose to work with Genesis to support his groundbreaking business. And lastly, I just wanted to pass on our thanks again for tuning in to today's Expo and to ask that you stay tuned to all our digital channels and also to follow us on LinkedIn. Next month, we'll have our largest release yet of the Genesis platform, which will be genuinely mind-blowing. And we'll also be able to share the massive news on our biggest deal to date. So thanks again and enjoy the show.
Thank you, James. Exciting times. If any audience member would like to chat with James and the team on any of the items mentioned, please do get in touch. Also, if you have any questions, please submit them now in the on-screen form and we'll cover them in our live Q&A. And now, the upload with Nick Kolba.
Thanks, Felipe. I'm really excited to be here with everyone today to talk to you about the new Genesis web platform. At the heart of this platform are web components. The concept of web components have been around for quite some time, but web components are now coming to their own as a practice with platforms like Salesforce, Ionic, and other financial firms like ING investing heavily in this technology. Essentially, web components are a set of native browser APIs that enable the creation of custom HTML tags. These custom tags can hold loads of functionality, encapsulating everything that traditional JavaScript frameworks have been used for. However, web components are far lighter and faster than JS frameworks. Perhaps even more importantly, they get application developers out of the never-ending churn of competing JavaScript frameworks, since they are built on lower-level browser APIs that can span across frameworks.
To answer why web components, we should first ask, what are web components? LCAPs have long pursued reusable building blocks that can express complex workflows, i.e. Lego bricks. Web components are the web's answer to this Lego brick problem. Web components are inherently composable. They are portable, framework agnostic, and lightweight, and free us from the JavaScript framework churn. HTML makes applications accessible and easy to understand. Almost anyone can compose something with HTML. Web components make your HTML easier to understand. At Genesis, we've gone all in on web components and other modern web dev approaches to build an LCAP that is portable, highly customizable, interoperable, and performant.
Composability is critical when building a low-code platform. When you think about it, it was HTML and web that enabled the first generation of citizen developers. People who could learn from view source, who could leverage technologies like blogging, content management systems, and e-commerce platforms to build successful businesses and brands online. Web components are really a way to formalize these kinds of innovations so they can be understandable and reusable at scale. In the same way that an HTML anchor or image tag can be clear to a non-technical content creator making a blog or a website for their business, at Genesis, we want a chart tag, a blotter tag, a trading tile tag that makes it easy for a product or business owner in finance to solve problems without having to spin up an entire engineering team. The Genesis LCAP enables the creation and interoperability of micro UIs. Our platform is organized around microservices, and users can easily stand up backend services and then stamp out any number of composable UIs from that data. Genesis UIs can work across any number of channels in browser, mobile, or any web-enabled container for financial smart desktops. We've been talking about micro UIs in finance for a very long time. This is because of the demands for high customization of very complex and data-dense workflows. Micro UIs are vertically integrated components that contain not just UI, but the data and business logic backing them. The Genesis LCAP enables the creation and interoperability of micro UIs. Our platform is organized around microservices, and users can easily stand up backend services and then stamp out any number of composable UIs from that data.
Micro UIs are critical to financial application development because they enable data-dense UIs and complex workflows to be broken into logical and remixable parts. The Genesis LCAP empowers the creation of micro UIs by allowing users to easily stand up back-end services and then stamp out any number of composable UIs. Genesis UI can work across any number of channels in browser, mobile, or any web-enabled desktop container.
Genesis UIs can work across any number of channels in browser, mobile, or any web-enabled container for financial smart desktops. When we take all these apps created by the Genesis LCAP and add interoperability to the mix, that's when things really start to come alive. Genesis is a contributing member of FTC3, part of the Finos Financial Open Source Foundation. FTC3 sets standards for application interoperability across finance and has been adopted by a wide range of banks, vendors, and other financial firms. With FTC3, apps can discover and interoperate with other apps without prior knowledge of each other. All they need to know is the standard. Here are the apps we just created on the Genesis platform, interoperating and passing context in Chrome using the FTC3 channel linking feature. The grid can pass its context to the chart, even though they are in separate windows and are not specifically coded to each other. So here we have the grid that we just created and the chart that we created as well from the orders data that we saw coming from our Genesis microservice. And if you notice that there's a icon here where I can go in and get FTC3 functionality, I'm now going to put the grid onto the red channel for context sharing. And when I select an instrument in the grid, it's now populated that channel with that context. And when I move my chart onto that channel as well, it automatically gets that context and reloads, showing now orders for euros. And as I change now the context in my grid and populate it with new instruments, the chart immediately responds and loads those contexts. And so now we have context sharing happening between these two different applications without them having to know APIs between each other. So one of the really cool features about FTC3 is intents. This enables discovery of functions and applications across any FTC3 system, very similar to what you have on mobile. So in this case, I'm going to right-click on an instrument and I get a menu of applications and intents available for that context. Here I've opened up Reuters News, and I can now just seamlessly go from my Genesis built app into a third-party application and view data around that context. If I put this onto the same color channel as my grid, then I can continue to click through the grid and update the news with the new contexts as I'm going through them.
The Genesis LCAP web components and micro UIs really come alive when interoperability is added to the mix. Underlying successful interop standards as well as successful web strategy is an open source ecosystem. Genesis is a contributing member to the Finos Foundation and dedicated to open source development. Unlike many low-code, no-code platforms that mandate a black box around their technology, Genesis believes that the best of low-code comes with open platforms. Genesis contributes to Finos, which drives financial open source projects and standards. Finos is also a part of the Linux Foundation, which hosts many open source projects critical to financial applications, including Node, Electron, and Kubernetes. Through cutting-edge web technologies such as web components and financial standards like FTC3, the Genesis LCAP provides a new way to create micro UI-driven applications in finance.
As we move towards micro UI-based workflows, third-party integration of our apps is even more critical, and FTC3 really enables that. So in this example, I'm going to look through my app directory and open up a TradingView chart app, which is, again, a third-party app separate from the apps I just generated on the Genesis LCAP. And now I'm going to link them all together onto the same context channel. And as I click through instruments in my grid of prices, I can immediately see those instruments charted on the TradingView chart. Again, this is a completely third-party app, knows nothing about Genesis, and they're able to have meaningful interaction based on FTC3. In summary, the Genesis LCAP is leveraging cutting-edge web technologies like web components and financial standards like FTC3 to bring about a new way to create micro UI-driven applications in finance. We're really excited to be working with these technologies and to be taking them to the next level in finance. Back over to you, Felipe.
Thank you, Nick. Again, any audience members who would like to chat with Nick and team, please do get in touch. Also, if you have any questions, please submit them on the form on screen and we'll cover them in our live Q&A section. We now come to the download section of the live show, where we invite an industry expert to discuss the challenges and opportunities across the market. I am delighted to be joined this month by Daniel Shepard, CEO of BTON Financial, discussing how low-code innovation and the smart broker router developed using the Genesis LCAP is redefining best execution. So then, let's dive in and chat increased buy-side sophistication, more regulatory oversight, and the hunt for alpha. Would you like to introduce yourself and your company?
I set up BTON Financial just before the onset of MiFID II because I realised that fundamentally asset managers didn't have the most optimal front office business model to take advantage of recent and emerging opportunities from the changes in market structure. That's why we launched, to be the independent outsourced dealing desk for asset managers, essentially taking on the tech burden, connectivity to brokers and vendors, and allow them to focus on what they do best, alpha generation and returns for investors.
Our industry has seen significant changes over the last years, both in terms of regulation, but also in light of the recent pandemic. What are the industry dynamics that stand out for you?
MiFID II has shifted responsibilities for best execution firmly onto the buy side. With this, the buy side has been faced with the need to invest in new tools and technologies for regulatory compliance. And we know that 80% of budgets have been spent on compliance technology in recent years. As a consequence of this, asset managers have had less budget to invest in technologies that give them a competitive edge over their peers and support their quest for alpha. But essentially, they need access to innovative, sophisticated technology that doesn't undermine their trading strategies. The reality is often that they are stuck with legacy infrastructures. And of course, let's not forget unbundling, which has practically added a new budget line for buy-side firms who now need to pay for their research separately, as well as in addition to their execution relationships. Coupled with the general trends towards pressures on profit margins we see across the spectrum, the asset management industry has had to radically rethink how they run their dealing desks. If we overlay this with COVID-19, there is a clear shift happening and business models and operating models are fundamentally changing. Technology is even more important today than it was 2 years ago when MiFID II came in, to make sure that buy-side firms can continue to operate, improve their performance, and ultimately generate returns for their end investors.
Thanks very much for that overview, Dan. I completely agree with you on the crucial role of technology in helping buy-side firms address some of the challenges they're facing. And what has your response been to these industry developments?
Outsourced trading has really been on the rise in recent years, but regulatory developments, margin compression and the global pandemic have absolutely accelerated this trend. And we have had a number of conversations with asset managers who are now evaluating outsourced trading as part of their business continuity strategy and new operating models in what we now describe as the new normal. I keep talking about failing to plan is planning to fail, and it is certainly true in the times we live in. Planning is everything, and now's the time to do it. Asset managers need to maintain access to existing liquidity venues and connect to new ones. They need to maintain their broker relationships, but evaluate them in regular performance reviews and add to them if other brokers fit their trading strategies better. They need to continue to hunt for alpha in these challenging markets, and they absolutely have to outperform their peers.
I'd like to turn to BTON Financial in a little more detail. What exactly were the problems you were looking to solve, and how did you go about it?
Our main objective was to help asset managers focus on identifying alpha-generating trading opportunities and maintain their competitive edge. We provide them with a technology and data-driven outsourced dealing desk that is independent and broker neutral, fully aligning our interests with that of our clients. We enable them to take full advantage of emerging execution opportunities by managing connectivity to all liquidity venues, the underlying trading technology, and their broker connectivity requirements. We automate orders and workflows to ensure that they can focus on improving investor outcomes rather than building and maintaining legacy technology stacks in-house. The three outsourcing models that we have developed in response to client demand are complete outsourcing, offering a fully outsourced independent dealing desk for firms without legacy trading infrastructure who are building their technology stack with an outsourced trading desk function. Hybrid outsourcing, us, BTON Financial, augmenting the client's existing dealing desk by providing outsourced dealing services that enable the head of trading to focus on large in scale or esoteric instruments, for example. Outsourcing for emerging asset managers, small and early stage asset managers using us and our outsourced dealing desk as a quick route to market, scalable for future needs and to avoid operational overheads, a dealing desk in a box, if you will.
Thank you for that overview, Dan. And let's take a closer look at your award-winning Smart Broker Router, which is built on the Genesis low-code platform.
Set up by industry experts with a wealth of experience, BTON Financial was formed for the sole reason of helping asset managers utilize the latest technology and leverage data to optimize their trading operations, reducing overheads and increasing performance whilst demonstrating the best possible execution for their clients and the regulators. Today, asset managers often have their own in-house dealing desk. Portfolio managers decide on an appropriate investment instrument that fits within the correct investment and risk parameters for their particular fund. This instruction, or order, is then passed to the dealing desk, often via an in-house portfolio management system or electronic fix message. This order is then taken by the in-house dealing desk, who in turn passes it on to a broker or brokers to interact with the most appropriate trading venues. Trades and prices are then passed back to the dealing desk and in turn the portfolio manager or portfolio management system. Asset managers using BTON can now radically rethink their dealing desk and streamline their operations by passing the order instructions directly from their existing in-house portfolio management system or from a head of trading from their order management system via a straightforward fix message or via the BTON app to BTON Financial, as do the other asset managers using BTON Financial, thus enabling the cost reduction and economies of scale that outsourcing offers. These economies of scale enable BTON to do all of the heavy lifting on the tech stack, maintaining all of the connectivity with the brokers. With one point of contact, brokers are also able to interact with more clients. Once the order is received by BTON, it enters the Smart Broker Router. This is the calculator, which determines the most appropriate execution algo at the most appropriate broker. Trade fills are then passed back via BTON to the asset manager and also through transaction cost analysis to ensure best execution requirements are being met. And importantly, build a statistical data set on the quality of the executions in order to feed the machine learning in the Smart Broker Router to inform future decisions on trade destinations, creating a feedback loop of trading intelligence. BTON Financial. Automate, measure, optimize.
It's a new concept in the industry. We're all used to smart order routers, so can you tell us a bit more about how the Smart Broker Router works? And why was low-code the right approach for you?
Sure. A smart order router routes your order to the venue with the best liquidity and best possible execution. Our Smart Broker Router routes your order to the most appropriate executing broker. This can either be one of the brokers that asset managers have an existing relationship or another broker that happens to have a specialism in a particular stock, say French mid-caps. The aim is always to improve execution outcomes and returns for the end investor. Of course, we can manage existing broker relationships, connect to preferred brokers and act like an agent on behalf of asset managers. But in all of this, we remain broker neutral, This means our interests are aligned with that of our asset manager clients. Our prop book or brokerage arm won't benefit from your flow because we don't have one and we never will have one.
That's very interesting, Dan. So taking the comparison to the smart order router further, presumably the smart broker router is constantly fine-tuned and enhanced?
That's right. We consolidate execution data across our platform to make sure that any and all post-trade analytics are used to enhance our existing routing logic. But more importantly, we anonymize and share consolidated data sets within the smart broker router to evaluate broker performance. Portfolio managers are then able to check if their trade was executed at best price compared to all other trading venues at exactly that moment in time. The smart broker router is on a constant path of improvement because the machine learning component is constantly receiving new data with which to improve decision making and asset manager performance. I'm really proud of our achievements on this. This is what I mean when I say that we provide the outsourced trading technology that ensures that trading intentions are not undermined by poor technology.
And of course you have built a smart broker router on the Genesis low-code platform.
We have indeed. Agile development was important for us, and by using the Genesis low-code application platform, we were able to build our smart broker router quickly without having to write substantial lines of code, and crucially, it will be really easy to support in the future.
Placing our discussion back in an industry context, what has the reaction been to your smart broker router? And how will the asset management industry as a whole benefit from this approach?
The interesting thing is, there is really very little appreciation of exactly how much money fund managers are spending with their brokers, let alone how well they're performing for their investors. There was a recent Open Gamma study, it was published in September 2019. This showed that only 11% of fund managers assess how all of their brokers are actually performing, despite having formal broker review processes in place. By way of example, if a firm wanted to trade, say, a French mid-cap stock but hadn't traded one for 3 months, it would be guesswork and human bias that would end up being used to determine the executing broker, because there would just not be enough data at their fingertips to make an informed decision. So the fact that we enable our clients to access anonymised data from across our platform to evaluate broker performance has been a huge draw for us and a topic of a lot of conversations. Portfolio managers will be able to check if a trade was executed at the best price compared to the other trading venues at exactly that moment in time. Because data is anonymised and aggregated, benchmark performance by the brokers can be measured on a much more accurate basis than if a firm were to do this on their own.
And a final question, if I may. If you had a crystal ball, what would you say is the next big thing for asset managers?
This has to go back to becoming more sophisticated users of innovative technology and also solutions by third-party providers, all designed to hunt for alpha, outperform their peers and hopefully secure returns for end investors. And while plenty of technologies are out there, asset managers are now really focused on workflow automation. How do you make sure you can take advantage of these new technologies and incorporate them into your workflow without massive disruption? Different tech systems need to be reconciled, workflows need to be more digitized, all to make sure that asset managers, portfolio managers or their heads of trading can operate in the most efficient way.
I can certainly echo these views, Dan. Where we sit in the market, we see a lot of demand for integrated technologies to improve automation and workflows and empower users to make better informed decisions. And at Genesis, we play an integral part in these market developments. Thank you very much for your time today, and we look forward to our continued collaboration.
Thank you, Felipe.
I would now like to hand over to my colleague, Peter Nelkiemen, for a demo of the Smart Broker Router developed using the Genesis LCAP and how it's redefining best execution.
Hi, I am Peter Nel and I am a sales manager at Genesis Global. And today I have the pleasure of showcasing the Genesis solution built for BTON, an outsourced trading desk. With increasing buy-side sophistication, increasing regulatory oversight and the hunt for alpha, we have worked with BTON to leverage the Genesis LCAP platform to build a solution that tackles the industry challenges and provide a state-of-the-art smart broker router for best execution. The outsourced trading desk application, built for BTON, is a back-to-front solution that offers connectivity to buy-side trading applications and the executing brokers. Allow me to share the key features of the solution: capturing orders from buy-side via fixed protocol or a client web GUI, bespoke user permissioning, trading limits, order validation, complex algorithm order routing integration with broker executing services via fixed protocol, open source integration for TCA analysis and slippage calculation, bespoke client reporting and analytics, Now, let me take you through the solution from start to finish. We start with a buy-side client entering an order via Fix or the client web GUI. A set of risk controls validate the order entry, after which the order is routed to the brokers via our smart broker router, which provides market liquidity and enables execution. Last but not least, the solution provides bespoke reporting and analytics functionalities. The Genesis platform is built for the needs of financial markets and go beyond your simple business process management solutions. Our IT caters to more complex use cases, which require numerous attributes, including a high level of customization and performance to support high transactional workflow. Let me take you through the 5 key technology attributes required for the BTON solution. One of the key requirements in building any trading application is a resilient, secure, and performant IT architecture. For the BTON outsourced trading desk solution, low latency and high throughput were required and are inherent features to the Genesis core LCAP platform technology. The second attribute is integration and connectivity. The first level of integration is the connectivity to the buy side and sell side, to which we were able to leverage our integrated Fix services. The second level of integration required was to the third-party systems, such as SFTP integration to an open source TCA provider and also to brokers for restricted list management. The BTON solution required complex transactional and workflow management, including event handling, order state management, and dynamic rule-based routing capabilities, which the Genesis LCAP has a suite of microservices to cater for. Another critical requirement for the BTON build was a granular set of controls and user permissions to support a multi-tenanted platform, which is an essential compliance and risk requirement. The Genesis platform includes a sophisticated user permissioning framework that supports both functional and data permission levels. Last but certainly not least, the 5th attribute is around analytics, which is a key pillar to understanding trade cost and performance, or in plain words, measuring best execution, for which the Genesis LCAP has a sweet spot for its data handling and visualization tools. And now, let me demo the BTON build for you. The BTON solution comprises of 2 components. The first being the client user interface, the second being the BTON internal application. What I will be taking you through today is the client user interface. Before I log in, I'd like to mention that this web application is built using our Angular 7 web framework. Let's log in. The first thing you'll see is our navigation window on the left-hand side. Here you can see the main functionalities of the application: orders, analytics, transaction cost analysis, positions, risk limits, user admin, and reporting. Important to know is that the navigation bar is controlled by a granular set of user permissions, allowing clients and users to see only what they need to, creating a safe and secure environment. For the sake of the demo, we've set us up as a super user, enabling us to see all the available features and functionalities of this application. Let's start by looking at the orders. At the top, you can see the parent orders. When selected, below in the trade blotter, you can see the trades belonging to your selected parent order. The grids you see are highly customizable and made by AG Grids. You can drag, drop, and customize according to your liking. For example, I can get rid of the expiry column as such, or I can move the strategy column as such. By clicking on the various hamburgers you see here, here, or here, you can filter and search for a specific trade or data. Now, let's enter an order live from the buy side. When clicking on the blue buy button, you see the specifics of your trade entry. You can select your buy or sell trade, you can select your quantity, you can use our fast keys to speed up your entry. You can use a T for 1000 and an M for million. You can specify your account and specify your price type. You can say market, limit, or stop limit. You can select an instrument of your choosing from our preloaded database, making it easy and fast to enter trades. You can quickly select your flow type. You can choose for a care order, a DMA order, or even an algo order. Let's use DSA order. When choosing DSA as a flow type, you can also select various strategies such as volume weighted average price, MOC, and POV, and IS. When choosing VWAP, you can specify service parameters according to your strategy. Let's submit an order. As you can see here, the order has been put through and filled by the broker. You can see different trades filling up the order in the trade blotter below. Important to know is that this application provides risk controls, which you can specify in the Risk Limits tab, which I will be showing to you later on. You can set certain limits. This is usually meant for the compliance officers or a head of a trading desk. You can set warnings or fat finger checks, or for example, you can set a trade limit at say 1 million shares of Vodafone. The system will prompt you with a warning and not let you put through the trades above your specified limit. Next to the trade blotter, we also provide graphics in our execution chart, providing visualization on the size and frequency of the trades. To make your life even easier, we have a shortcut ribbon with buttons at the top here. Here you can filter the blotter content or quickly delete or adjust a trade order. You can also search active versus completed orders or filter for individual columns. Lastly, we have a quick search bar for quick navigation in the order grid itself. Let's move to the second tab, the Analytics. Here you can see 4 panes. The first one is your daily trade data. Here you can see a set of interactive charts that clients can customize and define according to their own liking. On the left-hand side, you have the columns, and on the right-hand side, you see a big pie chart. For this build, we have decided to use AM charts. You can sort data by broker or by strategy. You can slice and dice data in different ways according to your own needs. For example, you can look at pure volume, or you can look at notional value of a trade order. You can sort data by different values. You can use open order, completed order, order volume, order notional, commission, or average commission fees. This provides the user with an economic way of looking at their trade data. The second tab, Benchmark, shows the client his or her total cost of their trades. Total cost is broken down in commission, which you can see here, and slippage, which you can see here. Slippage is calculated against the TCA benchmark. This allows you to monitor best execution and understand broker performance. Again, you can view the data in different ways. You can view it in cash price or BPS, or split it by broker or even by strategy. The strategy view allows you to monitor costs and slippage per order type. The final tab, daily and monthly, are effectively time series representations. The first showing daily volumes by broker, the second showing a monthly view. Both show you notional value per broker. You can select and view different brokers for your liking. For example, you can view only broker 1, view all brokers, or view only broker 1 and 4. The same applies to your monthly data. You can do so as you wish. Now, let's move on to our third tab, our Transaction Cost Analysis or TCA tab. This is effectively a historical trade database. Here you can find each individual trade and its performance. There are various sorting features allowing you to find outliers with ease. For example, you can sort by costs, for example to find your most expensive trade. This makes it easy for the users to spot outliers and analyze performance. Secondly, you can look up trades by entering their ticker in the search bar at the top. Now, let's move on to our fourth tab, our Positions tab. This, in effect, is a real-time positions throughput per day, per instrument, per fund. If you so wanted, you can import start-of-day positions by importing an external file via a simple standard Excel template or CSV file. Let's move on to the Risk Limits tab. This functionality allows the user to set trade limits per user per book. Here you can see a set of 4 limits. The first limit, for example, is a limit set for the Vodafone instrument and a maximum order volume of 1 million. We can set trade limits on both a very high level and a very granular level. As an example, let's amend our first limit. For example, if you wish to set a very granular limit, you can specify a limit per instrument, per user, and per account. You can set a limit by both notional value or by volume. If you are permissioned, you can add, adjust, and specify the limits according to your liking. Now, let's move on to our admin tab. Both the risk and user limits are permissionable functions. Normally restricted to compliance officers or, say, the head of desk, the user admin basically allows the supervisor to disable a specific trader. Let's move on to our final tab, Reporting. This functionality is built for users to build their own data query templates in order to export data easily from the platform. It enables you to select certain data tables and choose individual fields or filters you'd like to include in your query, allowing you to customize your data import and filters. For example, if we select the TCA report, you can see the data you can draw from the platform. If you go to the filters, you can add the data filters or specification. You can, for example, select broker name, strategy, or volume traded. Once defined, you can run your report and export it in an Excel template. Last but certainly not least, thank you for watching.
Thank you, BTON. And if you'd like a tailored demo of the Smart Broker Router, please do get in touch anytime. So before we head over to the live Q&A, I would like to thank you for joining our Expo, our monthly update on the Genesis LCAP and how we are transforming IT delivery. Check out our previous show with Matthew Rees-Evans, Loan Markets Innovation Lead from ING, discussing how ING are replacing end-user computing with low-code innovation and a demo of the credit insurance application. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the Genesis Expo. I'm now joined for the Q&A section with James Harrison, co-founder and COO of Genesis, and by Daniel Shepard, BTON's CEO. So turning over to the questions now. The first question that came in is, I'm going to give it to Dan. As head of trading at an asset manager, I can't really see how BTON can add value to what I do on a daily basis, given my trading experience. Explain why I need it. It looks pretty similar to my existing OMS. Over to you, Dan.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I guess in essence, it will look fairly similar to an existing OMS. The difference is being that it isn't built on, well, it's all brand new technology. It's not built on legacy building blocks, if you will. The other difference is that obviously we are really utilizing data from across the entire customer group. Obviously, this is all anonymized within the Smart Broker Router, so no one actually has access to it, but it's used to influence decision-making processes. And actually, as head of trading, I think BTON Financial is your friend because ultimately it leaves you free to add value to the esoteric instruments, the very large in scale business that you do on a daily basis, rather than sort of the VWAP of Vodafone over the day. Which is really very automatable and should be automated by now, really. So I think that's the difference. The data usage, the automation, and the freeing up for your day-to-day business, and also the potential to grow without having to hire further people on the desk. So it's kind of, you get the economies of scale across every level.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dan, for your answer. The second question that came in, I'd like to turn now to James. The question is, how does the Genesis LCAP code perform in a high volume, high volatility, and complex trading environment compared to full stack technologies?
Okay, thanks for that, Felipe. Okay, I suppose firstly, Genesis is a low-code platform, and quite often the sort of myth is that, you know, because it's low-code, it's therefore easy to build. Obviously, that's one of the things that we push. But as such, it's not really been designed for high performance or high complex solutions, and that certainly from Genesis perspective is certainly not the case. And we've built the entire low-code platform over the last few years from the ground up, and we've built it with high performance and high scalability as our clear focus. So your question is, how does it compete, or how does it compare against a legacy approach? I suppose, you know, every problem that we tackle we tackle in a very similar way. We use those identical building blocks, those Lego bricks that make up parts of the platform, and as such, we bring those together, and we gain that same speed and quality of delivery. But not only that, each one of those Lego bricks, those microservices, has been built and designed in a consistent way, with complex financial market applications, in mind. So, I suppose compared to legacy development, Genesis easily stands up and often surpasses the traditional approach. Certainly because we get to the problem much quicker. There's no need for the boilerplate. Things like security, resilience, scalability, all of those things are taken for granted in every application we build. So, back to your question, absolutely we stand up. If anything, we surpass it.
Fantastic. Excellent answer. Thank you, James. Another question that came in here is, what is the lowest risk and fastest way to experiment low-code solutions in a mid-sized banking back-office environment? I'd like to take that one, actually, if you two don't mind. So the lowest risk and fastest way would probably be to have an engagement and a scoping session with the Genesis team, so we can, on the first instance, understand your IT architecture and what your use case is for the back office. We work with a lot of mid-sized, small-sized, and large tier 1 banks in terms of integration and kind of overlaying the user experience or extending functional capabilities of legacy systems. So that's something that we can we most happily would do for any customer, for any client. It's also important to note that we offer an enterprise solution where the client can, if you have technologists, you can build the solution yourself, or we can quickly build applications for you on a SaaS model. As your question pertains to the lowest risk and fastest way, that would probably be the fastest way. And do please get in touch. We'd love I'd love to have that conversation with you offline. So let me move on to the next question. Next question is I'd like to take that one to Dan. So for asset managers that adopt the BTON outsourced trading desk, what is your market coverage and technology requirements for connectivity?
Okay, good. We obviously cover global 24/5.5 market hours. We felt it was really important to cover all regions, obviously. That being said, you can still simply outsource your Asia requirements to us for those firms that don't have an overnight desk, for example. Also, as I was based in Asia for 8 years, trading multiple asset classes. That's definitely an area of expertise for us and something we like talking about. And in terms of the technology connectivity, it's very straightforward. We made it kind of the open architecture to make it as easy as possible for our customers to connect. So as that pretty cool cartoon said earlier, actually, you can just connect to us via a fixed message from your existing PMS or OMS systems. Or you can use our app, which is over a secure web connection. So it's make it as easy as possible for firms to use, really.
Quite
and
flexible.
Also, just to mention, actually, quickly to jump in, even if you are using your existing OMS or PMS, you can still use the app to access all of those stats that we talked about earlier.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Dan, for your answer. And then if we have just a few more minutes, the last question I'd like to gear actually to James. In today's market environment of tighter spreads and reduced margins, and also increased demand for automation and technology, is now the perfect time for an LCAP market-wide adoption?
Okay, another good question, and very relevant in financial markets. Certainly every firm we speak to is using technology to digitally transform their business. Obviously, at the same time, they're looking to either reduce or at least, worse, stabilize their costs. So from a low-code perspective, adding the low-code element to this digital transformation dramatically reduces this cost. We ourselves have seen savings of around 80% in the build time by using our LCAP approach. Also, low-code across the board is being adopted, really in every market, in every vertical, and more especially in business process management type use cases, or robotic process automation type use cases. However, with Genesis LCAP, it's definitely time, back to the question, it's definitely time that low code was adopted widespread in financial markets. We ourselves prove every day that we can solve these these complex problems using the LCAP approach. So yes is the answer.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, James. I guess we're running out of time, so I'm going to leave the other questions. We'll reach out to you individually. Thank you so much for participating in the second Genesis Expo, and please do join me next month, where we're going to have our guest Alpha FMC, where we'll be discussing the key business and technology drivers facing the buy side in 2021 and how low code is helping them deliver regulation, automation, and digital transformation. Thank you very much.